Our group is GP, short for Girl Power, and we chose to talk about lowering the drinking age to 16. 77% of the class thinks the drinking age should be 18, whereas 11% of the class thinks the age should be 16. Pro: safe exploration and less abuse. A pro in the United States lowering the drinking age to 16 would be safe exploration of alcohol use. Many American teenagers find themselves experimenting with alcohol in high school behind their parents' back. Whether it is at a house party or sneaking out of your parents' stash, it is something a lot of teens seek to experiment with. Drinking can be an enjoyable experience if used properly. Teaching at this age can teach good drinking habits, especially to make it enjoyable and not a miserable one. When someone is 16, they usually are living with parents or family who could help them explore the use of alcohol. Everyone reacts to alcohol differently, especially depending on the amount that you consume. Drinking alcohol in a safe environment with supervision could decrease unsafe drinking, according to procon.org. Since people that are under 21 currently cannot drink in bars, restaurants, and other locations where drinks are served, it causes them to drink in an unsupervised areas such as house parties. When you drink unsupervised, it can lead to unsafe behavior and binge drinking. This can lead to serious consequences if this behavior continues. This could even prevent future alcohol poisoning if teens know how to use alcohol properly. Teaching at a young age like 16 how to responsibly drink could make America smarter drinkers.
Another pro on lowering the drinking age is that it will get rid of the taboo we have on drinking. People by nature don't like being told no, and so as a society, we've created this taboo. Dwight B. Heath, an anthropology professor at Brown University, wrote a pretty controversial paper in favor of lowering the drinking age as low as 6 or maybe 8. In his article, he talked about how alcohol has no mystique. By contrast, where it's banned to 21, there's kind of a forbidden fruit syndrome. Teenagers are also often quite rebellious, and the idea of the forbidden fruit brings out that rebellious instinct and entices them to purchase fake IDs or to smuggle booze into their house or dorm room. It's really actually not as uncommon as you'd think. A group called Monitoring the Future does an annual study on teens every year, and in 2005, their study showed that 3/4 of 12th graders, 2/3 of 10th graders, and 2 in every 5 8th graders have consumed alcohol or do quite often. The following year, the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse released an article talking about how our brains develop well into the 20s, and scientists believe that this explains some of the behavioral characteristics in adolescence, such as seeking new, potentially dangerous situations, and possibly a psychological explanation for impulsivity, which then tied with that forbidden fruit syndrome and all of those rebellious acts, grabbing alcohol can be very dangerous for teenagers.
Alright, so fake IDs are available to purchase online on third-party websites. A lot of these websites and the sellers can be very strategic, and they can make these fake IDs very advanced to be scanned, bent, etc. And lots of teenagers disobey their rules and laws for alcohol, so they'll go out of their way, do anything they can, contact the people that they need just to access alcohol. Otherwise, they will go online and get fake IDs or try to get a group of people and purchase these fake IDs. Now, the consequences for selling fake IDs could either be, jail time for about a year or community service. And then a felony fake ID offense could be jail time up to 10 years. And then consequences caught with a fake ID, it's about a $250 to an $1,000 fine, community service, and or 6 months in jail. Also, a lot of these teenagers who are trying to purchase these fake IDs are usually younger, so aged 15 to 19 is what it says online, and they don't really know what they're doing. They're putting their information in, which could be a big target for identity theft. So basically, these online sellers could be scamming them, taking their money, taking their information, and things like that. And then, so if the drinking age was lowered to 16, the teens are less likely to purchase fake IDs and spend unnecessary money. And I think that would really help with, breaking the law and going against government rules and things like that. and there would just be less, I guess, taboo around fake IDs in general. It would not be as big as it is now. I know lots of college students who have fake IDs. I know a lot of high school students actually who also have fake IDs, and if the drinking age was lowered, it wouldn't be that big of a problem.
Con, drinking and driving. Drinking and driving kills. Alcohol-related car accidents happen every 50 minutes in the United States. There is a serious cost to drinking and driving. Lawyer fees can add up to thousands of dollars. On average, a convicted drunk driver has driven drunk 80 times before his or her first arrest. Regardless of one's age, any person is capable of drunk driving.
A lot of people argue that the brain isn't developed until the age of 25, which is true. However, our current drinking age is 21, which is still lower than the full development of the brain. And if we're being completely honest, most people drink before age 21 anyways. 50% of children ages 2 to 17 are prescribed opioids each year. Every day, more than 115 people die in the U.S. due to an overdose on opioids. For those of you who don't know what opioids are, some examples and forms would include prescription pain relievers, heroin, synthetic opioids such as fentanyl. That was actually a really big case here in Grand Forks. These are all highly addictive drugs that most people get addicted to after their first use. And these are handed down to kids ages 2 to 17. And we're just curious to know why that isn't, why we don't take the same measure when it comes to alcohol. The European drinking age varies from 14 to 18. Alcohol-related deaths are significantly lower than the U.S. We believe that it would create a safer drinking environment if we did lower it. Right now, I feel like a lot of kids who do drink underage are not experienced, are worried about getting caught than being safe. There's no supervision. If we were to allow it at this young of an age, they can drink by the parents and they can learn to drink more responsibly. Right now, I feel like they drink to get smashed every weekend, and we feel like it would become more of a casual or leisure activity, not something that they do every weekend because this is the only time that they're able to get their hands on it.
The con of less maturity. Strategy of understanding and handling feelings and emotions is altered because as kids enter their teen years, they may start to feel different emotions, such as ones that could feel negative and could be connected with anxiety or depression. They then may start to drink to numb the emotions and use alcohol as an escape to cure their problems and never learn how to cope with their feelings or understand why they are feeling that way. Shows self-morals because teens are under a lot of stress about what they are going to do with their future in terms of getting their dream job and getting accepted into the university they want to attend. They also go through tough times with other people, whether it's with their family, friends, or relationships. And so if teens are allowed to drink but choose not to party their teen years away and get their future figured out, then it shows that they are determined and motivated. Doing things that adults do could cause the teen to act more mature because they may want to be seen as more mature by people who are older than they are. So if they are able to drink and act like mature adults with them, then they may be treated differently and give more respect to everyone around them.
Binge drinking is responsible for 10% of deaths among working age adults aged 20 to 64 years, and is defined as 4 to 5 drinks on a single occasion in a 30-day period. So a lot of people binge drink without even realizing that they've been binge drinking. It's really easy, you're having fun, to have more than 4 or 5 drinks at a party or at a special event. It is known that restriction can lead to binging. So when we're talking about lowering the drinking age to 16, and as Gretchen mentioned earlier, that kids, and especially rebellious teenagers, don't like to be told no, this means that when we restrict them, that they're going to want to binge drink or drink underage irresponsibly. A study that was done comparing French teens' rate of binge drinking versus U.S. teens' rate of binge drinking showed that while French teens reported drinking more than the U.S. teens aged 13 to 15 actually had higher rates of binge drinking. So 30% of U.S. teens versus only 12% of French teens. This means that the exposure to alcohol has led European teens to maybe drink more on occasion, but to drink less in a single sitting, which is the point of this presentation. Everyone should be drinking responsibly, and that's why we go over the pros and the cons of lowering the drinking age to 16. If there was less taboo around drinking because of a lowered drinking age, then kids would have safe supervision and they would be able to experiment with alcohol without the dangerous consequences like drunk driving or binge drinking. At the end of the day, everyone should drink responsibly, not just people who are young or people who are drinking under the drinking age. And the goal is to educate everyone on the dangers of drinking so that they will not drink irresponsibly in the future.
And these are our sources that we used.